all fade when the stage is gone, when the debts ain't paid. Just how big a boy are you when the chips fall, when the fish fly? Just how big a boy are you when the truth comes, when the lies die? Big talk ain't the weight you carry. Down truck in a no-name town, dust on your tongue, rain won't come down. What's the measure of a man with nothing to show? When the wind cuts deep, when the seeds don't grow. Just how big a boy are you when the walls crack, when the earth shakes? How big a boy when your pride bends, when your heart breaks? Big talk don't mean a thing at all. You can puff your chest, you can raise your chin, but the mirror don't care about the fire within. How far will you go? How much will you lose when it's blood for blood and you gotta choose? Just how big a boy are you when the tide turns, when the sky falls? How big a boy are you when the pain comes, when the last call? Big talk don't weigh a damn thing.
Oh, yeah. How's everybody doing this fine Thursday morning, September the 18th, 2025? Hope you are doing well out there on your day, getting a good start, or maybe just laying up and resting for the day. Just tune in as more and more people will come into the show. Appreciate Miss Jen and Miss Elizabeth last night being troopers as we were trying to figure out and navigate getting them into the stream. I never brought them into the Rumble stream before, so we're not sure. I'm not sure what's going on. I don't take care of the StreamYard stream other than just work with it. Find out what's going on today. And Rob was sick, so we'll figure all that out. But so we're rumbling and headed to about 4 of the streams only. We're not doing all of ours. So again, this morning, no Instagram, no Kick, I think, but we are on Facebook, Rumble, Locals, YouTube, X, and Twitch, and but mainly Rumble. I mean, that's mainly where we stay anyway. And then, of course, Pickaxe, which will broadcast to there as we do. And I hope you're ready for the day. You know, it's a nice, cool morning as I come back. I love it. I was thinking as I was walking back to the studio, I was thinking, you know, it won't be long. This is going to be a cold walk, you know, as as you get into those really cold days. That's the days I'll be looking forward to a little heat in the studio. Sometimes in the winter, I've only had one winter in the studio. You know, you gotta warm it up. I do leave a little bit of heat on when it's really, really cold, but if it's not going to be down that bad, I won't do that and save the energy. But if it's really cold, you come, you know, or if it's just in between, you come in and you're trying to get warmed up, get coffee made, everything, and then get online and hopefully do all that in time that your breath is not showing that you're just how cold it is. So I was looking for today. Here we go. Let's look at birthdays today. And Jada Pinkett Smith is 54 years old today. Jada Pinkett Smith, actress, but a lot of people know her. Who else we got today that I want to mention? Uh, Not a heavy one today. Patrick Schwarzenegger, of course, son of, is 31. Familiar with him. And not too much more really by James Gandolfini. Now he was a TV actor. Of course, he's very famous for some mafia roles and stuff. Died on this date in 2013. It's his birthday today too. Rest in peace, my friend. Fred Willard, movie actor, died in 2020. Also his birthday today. And let's see. Uh, Ronaldo, soccer. Well, I know him. 48 today. And that's about it. Let's think. I don't think I want to mention any more. That's it. So if it's your birthday today, happy birthday to you. And we celebrate it. It means you made another year. And that's always a blessing. Let's see here. Our verse of the day. Our verse of the day comes out of Matthew chapter 10, verse 22. And ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake, but he that endureth to the end shall be saved. Amen. That's your verse of the day. We'll go ahead and get those in. Do be praying for Robert. He really was not feeling good yesterday at all. And my allergies are kind of kicking in. I was laying there like, do I really want to get up this morning? That first thought is no, just lay here and it'll be all right. And then after I stir for a minute, I'm like, okay, let's go. Let's get it. I saw Dean yesterday, co-host on the Racing Hour in a sports show. He's all fired up. I gave him some homework to do to reach out to some local dirt tracks. And one of the things we're gonna see if we can't get partnered up with some local dirt tracks for some to have some drivers come on and talk about their careers and stuff, and just talk about dirt track racing. So we're gonna see if we can't get them to come on. Got to have the water this morning. My throat, due to the allergies, is not great. My voice will probably be a little deeper as as it's all in my chest too. You know, I've been coughing for 2 or 3 days and sneezing. Sneezing was yesterday mainly, but boy, it's just no fun. In the news, Megyn Kelly is really calling out Fox News over the banning of Charlie Kirk and saying, basically, you're riding in and getting all these people to come watch you like you and Charlie were really together. And she said he was that he was theirs, so to speak. She said he wasn't, so stop it. It's a lie. Just stop. She said. You find out when something happens. There's always those people. Even at funerals. I mean, and where nobody's famous, you get those people that show up and they'll be the ones that weep the most, and they will act like they will tell everybody like how they really miss them, and they make it seem like that they hung out, and when actually probably they haven't been involved in several years because uh, they just didn't even care to come around them. It might not even be anything bad going on. They just didn't hang around them, and you're sitting back watching this circus going on. You're like, what's this? I mean, this you didn't even like them. You act like you didn't like them. You just hung out, moved on, and did what you wanted to do. You didn't care for it. And that's kind of the way. That's what she's kind of saying. It's like, you're acting like y'all were all buddy buddy. Not one of yours. You didn't care for him. So good for her if that's the truth. I haven't really kept up with it. I don't know the insides of that, but if it was that way, good for her. You know, I'm not saying they can't cover it, but there's going to be that. There's going to be people coming along, and I really could care less about the media part of it. I do appreciate those citizen podcasters or just people who knew him that were posting up and saying, wait a minute, you're saying he was this? Let me tell you my experience. I've worked for him. I've been with the man, or I was at this event. Is this the event you're talking about? Where he's telling a person that he loves them, and good for you and all that. I like those videos. Those are nice. And so but good for her for calling them out. Media needs to be called out a lot, as often as possible, in my opinion. Of course, yesterday Trump designated Antifa movement as a terrorist organization. I saw someone trying to defend Antifa last night. Oh, you should be for Antifa. They're just opposing, government, the government overreach and all that, and your freedoms. They're protecting your freedoms. Oh, really? The ones where you burn down things and attack people, and is that the ones we're talking about? So I don't know. People, I do have fears at times for government overreach, and when we start making decisions sometimes that can be used as I call it, as it backflows the other way. You're really happy over here. Hey, we've taken care of a problem. But then that reverse happens and it flows back your way, and you're like, okay, wait a minute, I wasn't planning on this, because the same thing that can take and deal with somebody else can steal your freedoms and hurt you, and the left is loves to do stuff like that. They will make it sound all so glorious. We're gonna clean this up. We're on board, but their ultimate idea is to get something passed that they can then use as a hammer to hammer on conservatives, churches, and whatever. That's been their mo for a long, long time. So I have concerns sometimes over stuff like that. I don't think in this one we have to worry too much. Um, I don't even know how connected they are. They were trying to say they were just a bunch of individuals. I tend to think there's more organization than that. I think we've seen enough to know that. To what level it goes, couldn't tell you, but they definitely were organizing and financing different. I won't call them protests. Civil disobedience that was going on in the country. They definitely were a part of that. Um, yeah, Broski, the only group allowed to show up up to events dressed in black with their faces covered while carrying ARs. Yeah, so I absolutely understand that. And good morning to you, other one from Twitch, and so appreciate you posting your name there. Yeah, it's a little, yeah. So let's deal with them. I mean, these people were harassing American citizens and causing chaos. So, you know, you can't allow that. So I don't know who all involved. We might be shocked who is involved. I don't know. It's kind of like uh, when the masks are on, who do we really know who it is? I don't know who it is, but I think the president is good to do that. He said, I am pleased to inform our many USA patriots that I am designating Antifa a sick, dangerous, radical left disaster as a major terrorist organization, adding that he would strongly recommend that those funding Antifa be thoroughly investigated in accordance with the highest legal standards and practices. And I would agree with that. But let them be investigated. If your organization is clean, you have nothing to worry about. However, if you're out here doing things that are against the Constitution and again causing the chaos and deaths of people and the burn down of cities, then yeah, we need to deal with that. So I think we're on pretty safe here. I don't think that can hurt us in any other ways, but it's targeted right directly at them. Now, who's to say? I don't know how these things work. Like if you are Antifa, let's say you're Antifa, and you change your name. I mean, I don't know. That's what people do. And you come under a different name and you say, oh, I'm not Antifa. I'm here protesting as, another acronym. Does that apply to them or is it just only the Antifa? I don't know. I'm pretty sure that it will be broad enough to go after uh, folks that are, trying to go under that banner in any kind of way and deal with them and be able to lock them up, file charges. Being a terror organization, that's going to be some heavy federal charges. That's the kind of people that, with that designation, you could take them to Gitmo. I was talking to he's a fine gentleman. He's worked for a company. I don't see him all the time, but he was a helicopter pilot and flew other planes and things in the military. Well, his children, I think he's had two or three children in the military, but he was telling me one time uh, they were giving him some, I guess, some downtime in between maneuvers or something with their plane, whatever helicopters, I guess, whatever it was, and he was like, hoping he could go somewhere and really enjoy the scenery and all that. They sent them to the military base there at Cuba. Gitmo. It's like, I mean, it's hot. You get to see the ocean, but he said the it's really just a rocky. There's not much there. I mean, there's a game room. There's a couple things. It's not a vacation. We'll just say that. And they were all like, really? But he talked about having to go there 2 or 3 times in his career. It's not a place that is fun to hang out, but it is a place that's important to us as the United States because we can. It's American soil while we're there. That's our base. That's our land, and we can take prisoners there, and we can position ourselves to defend the interest of America. And it's important that we have that because of what happened in 1962, I believe that was. Cuban Missile Crisis. Be ready to respond. So I like that we have that. But yeah, it's not a locale to go and hang out and say, "Yay, I get to have liberty at a great location." No, it doesn't work out that way. So, good morning, y'all on Twitch. I hope you're well today. I don't have the stream pulled up. It's just broadcasting to it. I guess I could have, but I hope you're doing well today. If you're a gamer, hope your games are going well. Good clean games or whatever, not crazy stuff. Uh, like our loser killer that was a gamer. I was just right before I came on there. In fact, I was about 30 seconds past. I was listening a little bit to the press conference. I missed some of it yesterday. We were busy at work with surveys and stuff, employee surveys, and other meetings that I was in. But the press conference, I didn't get to see all of it, and I was listening to the chain of events that led up to his surrender. And the phone call or the communication, I guess I would say it that way, between mother and father, mother and son, father and son, and that he. Wait, by the way, on his writings that he had, he really believed in his head. If some people don't believe this, I can't go there. I mean, if that's what you believe that he didn't write all this. It's all made up. I don't know. I'm just going to go with what's there. And anyway, he writes in there to his lover that the gun is the issue. If I could get back and get the gun, there's a patrol car there. I didn't have time to deal with it. There was so I covered it up in the towel and in the weeds and whatever. But I need to go get it. I don't think they found it. I'm afraid they're going to find it. But his comment that if I could have get that away, or basically through that discussion, that he could hold on to that until he died. Like he really believed that he got away with this scot free. Like there was no evidence trail except the gun. What an idiot! I mean, first of all, the parents recognize, according to their statements to the FBI, they recognize their son, even though he's wearing shades and stuff. The mother is calling the son, like, "Where are you?" "Oh, I'm sick. I'm at home sick. I was sick yesterday and today. Sick." "Yeah, you are, punk." And her telling her husband, I think that's our son. And him going, "I think it is too." And they had seen the radicalization that he had over the last year and were full on and knew about the relationship between him and this other person. And then you take the fact he's in these chat rooms basically doing a victory lap dance over it. Really? Did you really think you were scot free? Like you think those little Discord freak buddies of yours were going to not ever tell? Like so you ran your mouth. You wanted to celebrate it. You wanted notoriety among your little circus freaks, but you thought you would live forever, and the gun was the only thing. How stupid! I mean, it was obvious he didn't have his plan, and according to him, he only had planned it for about a week. He planned to do it. So here he is being seen, that figure, that character across the top of the roof coming in, and we got video. There's video of him, jumping off the top of the roof there and then walking off. Uh, that was your plan? Like you were going to go back to your little gaming world, you know, your little life there, and that was it. That was the big plan. That was all this plan. DNA. They have DNA. They have video. There's other things that they have, and that was your plan. What an idiot! Well, we never said he was smart. Just that he was a killer. But that was telling to me that he really thought that. Yeah, I got to get that because my plan was to just live out till I'm old before anybody finds out. But in another way, he wanted people to find out. He wanted people because he just didn't want to go to jail. He made that statement. He said he was going to kill himself. I'm going to end it all. I don't want to go to jail. So they're talking about death penalty and all that. I hope that they really come up with it. We're going to put him in like Supermax, and he lives a long, long, long life in solitary confinement. He just gets to think about that, and I know they won't do it, but I wish they could just put Charlie Kirk videos into his cell 24/7. Anyway, what a freak! I just and just not thinking that he had the intelligence that he was going to pull this off and walk away. No, no, they were all over. They were all over that pretty quickly. And the other guy, the guy that they thought, the old man who was screening for him and was saying um, that he was the shooter, and then they he was seemingly, if I heard it right, admitting that he was screening for the shooter, the official shooter, and now they've arrested him for pornography. Shock. He looked like a freak too. Not much, broski. Not much. No. In fact, the sheriff, I think it was the sheriff, or one of the high officials, I think it was the sheriff though, that said that his parents are going to have to lay low a long, long time because even people he knows that are not connected but have the same last name are receiving threats. And I'm not saying that's right, but people are angry, and there's just those people that would do that. And this is people. It seems like they didn't have one idea what thing going on with this and confronted him about it. But still, people are mad. You produced this. You produced a killer. It's you gave him that weapon. All the things they're going to say. So it's definitely it's not good for them. Their lives are really messed up. And I think there were other kids. And how hard would that be? I've said this many times. I read the book by BTK, his daughter. He had a daughter and a son. I've read her book, and it was very hard for her to come. And she was married and living out of state when by the time he finally was captured. And she wrote a book, and she taught. It's a weird dynamic for her. And looking back, she says, I now can see odd behavior that I never really questioned out of my dad. And I correlated thinking about that around times that he was active, according to the dates that they said that he was doing this to people. She's mortified. And then how do I mean, he's my dad. And so at first she stayed away from him. Then she decided he was reaching out to her from jail, and she was trying to she went and saw him a few times. But the conversation sometimes would turn in a way she didn't like. And she's got these feelings about, like, my dad killed people, binding them up, tortured them, killed them. That's disgusting. That's horrible. I'm mortified at that. But he's your dad. It's very hard. So as of the time I read the book, there she was staying in contact, but it was a distant, not only in just by distance, but a distant relationship. Like, because he was her dad, she would stay in communication, but she couldn't stand really talking to him because she would see how he would turn, and he would be playing the victim or something, or be bragging. Anyway, that I forget her name, and I wouldn't say it anyway again because you can look that up. But I thought it was a fascinating book, and I remember in that book where at one time where she noticed her dad, who was always strong minded and everything, they went on a hiking trip to the Grand Canyon, and they had some difficulties, and he had a hard time getting out. And she said, I noticed there was something odd about him. She said mentally he was really breaking down some, and but she at the time she had no clue. But just sick. Charlie discovered the truth and was converted to Catholicism. He was leaving this misguided Protestantism. Um, and well, and you know, I just like the fact that he was helping people and he accepted others. And he didn't try to force feed beliefs down their throat, other than to find, you know, to be proud of your country, lift it up, and be somebody that makes a difference, be a good father, be a good husband, and yes, hopefully find God and become a Christian. So, but he didn't bash somebody for what they were, and I like that. Um, Jake, good morning. I want to let you know I got a new laptop. David, my roommate, paid. Oh, that's YouTube Premium, and my friend sent me a $10 Google Play card. Well, congratulations to you for that. I'm doing good, doing good. Rob's not feeling good. He took a tumble and he's in the bed. Kind of got locked up a little bit in his back, and he was sleeping all last night. He'll probably sleep part of the day. I don't know if me I'm going to do anything today or not, but pray for him. And yeah, not good for him. Not good for him. I don't think. Is anybody really going to cry? I mean, honestly, is anybody really going to cry over that? Um, you know, and to the people who want to make it a point right now to be anti Charlie Kirk and go out and destroy, memorials and stuff like that, you're stupid. You know what? You're trying to get your 15 minutes of fame, and you're going to get it, and it's not going to be what you want. A lot of people have already found out. Thousands of people have already found out. But you know what? You're an idiot. Just leave people's memorials alone. It's not your job to go out and mess up a memorial, a roadside memorial, whatever it is. Leave it alone. Just leave it alone. Just go on and live your life and leave people alone. Jake says, I love Trump. Jake from the great state of Mississippi. Well, he probably loves you too, Jake. You just don't know who you are. But he would love you for saying that. I can hear the president saying that he's amazing. He's awesome. I mean, he's the best of the best. He's this awesome creator. Good guy, good guy. I could see him saying something like that to you. Broski, let's see if they pass the Charlie Kirk Act, making media accountable. Lies spread across the major 10 networks won't be tolerated. Let's see this happen. Yes, I agree. And Jake says is the only reason why his show got canned because the companies running the affiliates is trying to get Trump's approval for a merger. I think there was a lot of pressure put on them from people, ordinary citizens. Is there something else to that? Could be, Jake. That's a good. I'm not saying that's not true in some way. Could be. Uh, I like the way you're thinking and thinking deeper on that. But I think they were receiving pressure from people who were sickened by his comments. Once again, now's not the time to try to be the funny guy in the crowd and make the. It's not. It's not. Don't be doing that. You get what you get. You get what you get. You want to be that person, you get what you get. People are upset. This week. I mean, it's just been days. I mean, we're not even barely a week, barely a little over a week. It's amazing how much happens in such a short period of time. But it's still just been about a week, and we got people out there just raising Cain and attacking him and attacking his family and doing all this stupid stuff. You're idiots. Just leave it alone. You can say it under your breath. You know what? Nobody's telling you how to think. If you hate the guy, you hate him. But to go out there and do what these people are doing is absolutely asinine. And you get what you get. I don't have any empathy for them. The heck with them. Broski says Pam Bondi's hate speech promo was disgusting. We aren't the left, Blondie. We don't believe in the concept of hate speech. Right. I said for way back when they first started talking about those measures, I was like, my God, we don't need that. We got laws on the books. And I knew that that would be used to come after conservatives. And I've told my church many times, I said, they will come after the pastors in the churches. It's all a plan. They're going to look at the sermons and they're going to say, anytime you're preaching against this or this or this, you have said hate speech, and and just give it time. They'll start. They might not do full on arrest yet, but they'll start bringing legal action against churches and ministries when they do that. That's where it's going. They've already been trying to tinker around with that. Um, I've said it before. It's been a few years now. The mayor of Houston was demanding that the pastor send her all of their sermons to be approved for Sunday morning or Sunday services because she wanted to make sure that there was nothing in there about uh, LGBTQ, whatever. And all the pastors in unison said, we absolutely will not comply with that. None of your business. And she backed off. Public pressure got out there what she was trying to do, and she was talking about fining the pastors and stuff. That's just round one. They'll be back, and they're coming back. A lot of churches I know have updated their charters and things, what they will won't do, and have explicitly written into their to what they won't do because it's much like there's a little bit more protection there in some ways, but not a lot. But like the bakers and stuff who got in trouble because that was on purpose, that was an action to destroy them. Well, there's been pastors who have been asked to marry same sex, and they said, I don't do that. And they have tried to get them for discrimination and hate speech and all of that. It's happened. And so there's creative ways they can write that in and say we don't, or if you rent your building, let's say your church, a gymnasium to public groups, and that kind of group wanted to come in and rent your gymnasium and have that maybe after wedding or whatever, and your reception, whatever, and churches are like, no, and you got to be careful with it. So I'm a very small church, but I'm telling you, it's definitely been out there. They're coming after them. Broski Bear, I've been so disappointed with Pam Blondie, Rash Patel, and Danny Bonbons. Rash isn't very good at lying. No, he's not. But a lot of people just can't get past his eyes, and I'm not trying to put anybody down, but his eyes really put off people. It's and not only the eyes, but the facial expressions. I don't know how to describe it as a zombie look. Like it's just like crazy eyes, and the face is like robotic or something. It's really off-putting to a lot of people, and I don't mean to be putting anybody down. I'm just saying that's what I've read. It really bothers people. Yeah, so I'm still disappointed with him, even though there's, you know, the president. By the way, I really think I could be wrong, Broski. The president is constantly saying he hears it. He hears it because he said just this week, well, that Pam Bondi, she's doing just a great job, right? It's almost like he knows that he's got to keep propping her up because it's not among his camp. The left obviously is going to be against her, but against his camp, against his camp, they're not. A lot of them are not for her. By the way, on that note, was what Mr. Cash said was that meet you in whatever he said was that I took it as that was what he was saying. I don't know. A lot of people had confused a lot of people. Jake says I stopped watching mainstream media with CBS, letting Colbert do something about COVID-19. Spread misinformation about it. Uh, yeah. Well, I go back a little further than that, Jake, but definitely there were some things that happened during this during that time that was really bad. So uh, I look back and it's again going back to ministries and how churches were not allowed to meet. Some cities in America came after them and and put police officers on their property to arrest anyone that tried to come open the church. The fact that we were that one point right there, that one point, that ought to scare the heck out of us. Oh, okay. I didn't really know that. So, okay, I didn't know that. I haven't never read deep into that. So, okay, cool. I just didn't know what it was. Thanks for enlightening me. That's why I let podcasts. You get instantaneous answers. I don't have to look it up. Y'all just let me know. But I didn't. I've been so busy. I didn't have time to go look it up. I really haven't. It's been crazy busy in my life for a few days. So yes, they do, Brusky. I do know that. Uh, I've heard a lot of comedians talk about that. And I don't know. There might have been a time many many months ago where me and Rob had a show about that. If certain individuals were to reincarnate, what would it be as? I kind of think we had a very just comedic show. It seems like we did. We've done, I don't know, well over 1,000 shows. I don't remember all of them, but I think there was a show where we did that one night. I think I think Steve was in there from Half Pine Forage. It seems like that's what it was. It was something along those lines, and it was a lot of laughter. I'll just remember that. I think it was something like that. Anyway, if it wasn't, we'll do it. Oh my goodness. But yeah, their investigations continue. I want to see all the little freak buddies. I want to see them in cuffs. You know, the ones that were aware, that knew, they at least could be charged with some things because they didn't. They knew for a good 24 hours he was the dude, and we know there was money trails. We know there were more than that. People were trying to help him. So I'd like to see all that. I'd like to see some of those. But they come in. By the way, there won't be no more games being played in some of them. Little abodes, apartments, wherever they're at, mom's basement, whatever it is, because the FBI came in and took laptops, computers, iPads, phones, all that digital. It's all evidence. They got it all. They swept in. Now there were still some that are going out. I'd say there's a handful probably trying to go back through their little messages and stuff, but they've got all the message strings anyway from one way. It ain't going to matter if they do that. They've got the whole thing. They've got it all. And some of these people they're sick today because they know what's fixing to happen. These people are caught up into this and any associations in it. Um, that's a possibility. I was talking about this to some people at work that in a lot of states that there is firing squad. And I was saying, I don't know, I just asked people, I said, Lord, we would never do something that would do that. But if you were that person, what would you ask for? I don't know, just work talk. And I did say, I wonder if he would, Um, you know, I, I've only heard clips. I haven't heard long discussion, but the clips I've seen seem to be really choppy or weird at times. Some of the comments were very strange. I need to go back and look at that just a little more, but I don't doubt. I mean, I believe you. I just I don't know much about them, and maybe we need to do we need to do a deeper dive on this dude. Find out who's he connected to as well. Yeah, sometimes you never know when an event happens that it's going to cast somebody or present them in front of the public, and you're like, where'd this person come from? They're very weird. Um, okay, they're either inject or bullets are going to be ejected as they're flying. um, there was one here recently where someone was did the firing squad, and I don't remember what state that was. Not been that long ago. In the past year. don't know much about him, but after watching several press conferences, I wouldn't want him around kids. That's for sure. Broski says. Yeah, it was just very odd comments. A couple of things I heard, and I need to go back in fact, that's what I was trying to do is go back and listen to some press conferences and stuff while I was sitting here waiting on the show to start. I'm trying to catch up a little bit. Like I said, a lot of these happen when I'm at work, so I gotta try to get on them when I get home, and sometimes I'm just busy when I get home. So, and sometimes I do listen to press conferences at work. Depends on the day. If I'm sitting working at my computer, I'll put it in the background and listen while some of these are going on. But I have listened a lot to the evidence and stuff that they presented. So I've listened more to the sheriffs and law enforcement than I have him. But I did you watch? By the way, did you watch the vice president on Turning Point USA's podcast? I was just wondering if you saw that. I only got to hear snippets, but I'd like to go back and listen to that. Did you see Glenn Beck? What he did on about the mic? That was pretty cool. He Rush Limbaugh's widow had given him the golden mic, and he's got it's like in that little white metal case. Opens it up, pulls that mic out. I mean, he's breaking down and slides it over there in front of where Charlie's mic was, and wow, that was a moment right there. That was I didn't know he had that. I did not know that. I don't really watch Glenn Beck. Every once in a while, I'll catch one of his videos. Um, I did watch him when this whole thing started happening. He was on the air pretty quick, or May was already on the air, and he was covering the story about Charlie. And that's where I actually picked up some of the news at it pretty instantaneously. So now that I'm kind of the algorithms push back part of that, parts of it. Okay, I'd like to go back, and I think that's very powerful that he did that. I would like to go back and listen to that, and I want to go back and listen to the episode of Glenn Beck. That was a I just got a snippet of that as well, and I'd like to go back and see what all Glenn had to say. If you go back, Glenn Beck was the one that was obviously on Fox, and man, was he taking it to people at the time. Uh, no, 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 no. Rush Limbaugh's widow gave Glenn Beck the golden mic, the EIB mic, and when he did, Charlie, I guess they'd done, I don't know that part if they'd done shows or if he was coming from uh, Charlie's studios. I'm not sure on that, but he pulls the mic out and puts it over and slides it in front of Charlie's mic and breaks down. That's a moment right there. Wow. Like I said, I didn't know that Rush Limbaugh's mic was given to Glenn Beck. I didn't know that. What an honor that is. I mean, think of all the shows that that mic was used on. It's a big mic. I mean, golden and everything. Well, if it was just a golden mic that he used with the EIB network, that EIB was on the base of it, and it was just a gold mic. And she gave him that mic once Rush died because he was never going to use it again, and she passed. It's like passing the torch, and uh, so he slid that over in front of Charlie's mic that he would normally use. It was like even though he's not here, it was like a symbolic passing of the torch to where Charlie had gone in because he said I always wanted to be Rush Limbaugh, and it was just a symbolic thing. Very moving, man. I want to go back and watch that whole thing. Celtic says you should have heard Glenn Beck when he's on AM radio, and I don't go back that far with him. I know he's been on the air a long time. And to what do you are referencing there? So is this a pro good thing or bad thing or what is that? I know there's a couple things about Glenn Beck that he said previously that I don't agree with. Of course, that's with anybody, uh, but his network, the Glenn Beck Show, has been pretty well on it. I think I don't watch it all the time, and some of it's behind the paywall. But man's got to make a living. I don't blame him. I mean, we hope to make a living here, or at least part of it in the years to come. But I think he's been all over it on a lot of stuff. So I was just curious to what you were referencing. Was he bringing it? Was it lame? Was it great? Was it off wall? Was it what was it? Glenn Beck was in peak comedy. He had such a good show back then. Okay. Um, he was probably fighting to make a name for himself, So, you gotta do that. Me and my dad always thought he got boring when he went to Fox. Well, they put the clamps on him, you know. And unfortunately, but what I did like was that when he would take the pictures and put on the wall, the little sticky thing or Velcro, and he would say, "This person is connected to this person, is connected to this person," and he'd draw the map for you and say, "See, folks, see who's all involved." And a lot of it emanated from Obama. Uh, but I agree. I get that. Well, the same could be said about Rush. When Rush was on the radio, that was the best. When he had his TV show, it was funny, but you could tell it was, there was some things that they would, he got to be a little bit more. I don't know. It just wasn't as biting to me as it was. He went back to it. I could be wrong on that. That's my memories anyway. It was funny because I like seeing the facial expressions. And of course, later they added the camera in the studio. So he was like on TV, but you got to see Rush in all his glory in the studio. But when they put him on TV and they put all the makeup on him and they start trying to force him into being this or that or whatever, it changes the whole dynamic. It's interesting to know that you and your dad would listen. I had a friend, I still have that friend. I never heard of Rush Limbaugh, and I was more into music. I wasn't really into listening to talk radio, and my buddy kept talking about Rush Limbaugh, Rush Limbaugh, Rush Limbaugh. I said, "Who the heck is Rush Limbaugh?" The name sounded funny to me. Rush Limbaugh. What is that? And he goes, "Oh, the guy I paint with. He lives on my street. I paint with him. He listens to him every day. And this guy was straight out of Chicago, and he would listen to Rush Limbaugh every day. And so one day I flipped the radio dial over to Rush Limbaugh, and I'm like, wow, what the heck?" And I listened ever from that day forward. And I had no clue who he was. I had no clue. Yeah. Oh, yes. Yes. Broski. Yeah. I'm sorry if I wasn't clear about that. That's what he did. You can go back and watch the clip. I think that was yesterday. I caught the clip last night. I was like, wow. It was a moment, man. I mean, he like breaks down and he's holding it like in his hand. And seriously like the baton or the torch or whatever you want to say. It's like he reaches over and he puts it and then he just kind of slides it over in front of that. Was that not moving? I mean, that's just a moment there. And I only caught that one little part. I'd like to go back and watch the whole thing. But that was, to me, that was a moment. Those are big people in the industry. A lot of people listen. Anyway, they always said there would never be another Rush, but there's a lot of people did a lot of great things. And anyway, I just thought that was pretty interesting. Uh, just to me was powerful. I just, like I said, just caught the. I'd been watching stuff about Charlie, and then that popped up, and I watched it. So it kind of hit me. He used to have the funniest segments and inside jokes. Remember the little break glass and case for mercy box in the background on his set on Fox? Yes, with the duct tape. You know what? If you hadn't have said that, I wouldn't have remembered it. But now that you say it, I do. He was funny. Now, you know, these days I don't really see the humor part. He's more all business. But I remember he was a funny guy. I just I didn't listen to him on AM that I remember because, like I said, uh, I wasn't into talk radio at that time. I was always listening to music uh, or shows, documentary, interviews with bands and stuff. That was my gig, man. I paid attention to politics and all that, but I never got into the shock, you know, jocks and all that. At the time, I really didn't care for it. People screaming on the microphone and calling people idiots and all that stuff. But I've always appreciated radio. Don't take it that I wasn't a radio guy. I was a radio. I listened to people on the radio, even on AM, but it wasn't talk shows. It was more programs and stuff, a lot of sports, because I was, man, music, sports. And so I just didn't never get hooked in listening to him. I don't even know if he was on in my area, to be honest with you. And he may not have been. Um, let's see here. That was based on a common joke on his AM show where he'd say that a story is so stupid that I'll make your head explode, so you needed your duct tape to hold the pieces together. He would issue a full duct tape alert before a story. How cool. I like that. I just don't like somebody been crying. I know, broski. I understand right after it happened, you can't come up. Maybe, he, I get it. I get it. But, the symbolic, beyond him crying, the symbology of it was pretty powerful for me. That's what I'm talking about, was the symbology of that mic. I've not seen that mic since Rush died. And the fact that he had it in that case, that would just, it was like the nuclear codes coming in or something. I was like, whoa, what's this? That's the part I'm in. Not really the breaking down, you know. But I just thought it was cool. So Broski's not over in the corner crying. Oh, what was me? My life. What am I going to do? I remember that scene in The Godfather. I mentioned it before. Act like a man. Slaps him. You can act like a man. He mocks him. Rah, 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 rah. I love that scene. Because when we get to that era of The Godfather, he's older. He's refined. I mean, he still his sons are taking care of the business, but they're obviously in control. But he's turning more and more of it over to them. So he's older. But it gives us a glimpse back into how he was. He didn't take no crap. I am, and I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't want it. I've already saw that. He had mentioned with someone else. I have listened to his show. I don't care for it. I'm not a fan. I'm just not. I tried. He used to come on right after in my town. I don't know if it's like that across the country. Right after Bongino when it was on. So I'd go to. That was when I was going to my guard job, and I would catch Bongino, then Shapiro, and someone else. I don't remember who it was. And I also had a bunch of them I would listen to on podcast on my phone. But I'd always tune in Bongino. And then I tried to listen to him and I couldn't. So I flipped over and actually, I think after that, I remember who I was listening to after that. I couldn't get into his show. I don't care for the fast talking and some of his analogies and stuff. I'm like, I'm not into you, dude. So I just quit listening. I heard people bragging about him. I'm like, no, not for me. Nope. Nope. And I don't want to see him in that chair. No, I'd agree. I think that would be bad for them. Well, actually, who needs to fill the chair right now is just his wife, and if she can handle that, because I think she's got a fire. I think she's going to bring it. She's getting ready to sue the heck out of ABC. It could be command posts like, okay, today in the world, we're going to go and we're going to go after this group. uh, I know, broski. I kind of figured that would. Uh, I get that. Yeah. Okay. I didn't know he had started doing that. I didn't know he was going there. Celtic. I used to enjoy the Shapiro show. Kind of still would if I didn't dislike the business practice of the Daily Wire. After stabbing Candace Owens in the back, who turned into a wacko anyway, and then pushing Brett Cooper out, who didn't deserve it. Okay, I didn't know about some of that. Yeah, I'm not saying I disliked the whole show, but there were, I don't know what it was. I just couldn't, after listen to 15 minutes, I'm like, I'm ready to move on. But I get it. He is a voice. He's a major voice out there, so I understand that. But Celtic's got some history here. He's been a he's been a listener to some things I haven't even really listened to. So interesting, interesting. Do you go back to the days of Rush, Celtic? Did you listen to him? Who's one of the other? Michael Savage. You ever listen to Michael Savage? You ever listen to him? He's kind of been, I don't know. He's not like he was. He was really big at one time. There's a couple of other voices out there that are, starting to come along, but I can't think off the top of my head. But I've listened. I bounce around. I listen to different ones. One day it's going to be Killer Carl, right? Killer Carl. He's becoming that voice. He's filling the void. He's going to slay them. I actually don't. My dad liked Rush, but I was interested in politics at that point in my life. Did you hear about CK's meetings in the Hamptons and his call with? I did hear about that. I didn't hear about the last part of that, but I did hear about the first part. So, you know, lots to go. There's going to be a lot more information come out along the way. A lot more people are going to spill their guts about what they knew, what they didn't know, and we're going to find out what we're going. I just hope they run it to ground wherever it leads, wherever it goes. Don't stop until you have fully exhausted this investigation and taken everybody to justice that that needs to be taken to justice. By the way, Steve, you can't see it because when I got my camera down just a well, yeah, you can. Behind me on the birdhouse, I hung two things there, maybe three. Maybe I do have three things hanging up there. You can kind of probably see that right here, right there, right there, and I think I've got the other spoon right up here. So that's the Half Pine Forge. And on my desk, I have your nice thank you card. I appreciate that, and the Half Pine card. There's a little advertisement there. There you go. I don't know if anybody could scan off of that off the screen, but there you go. Scan me. Half Pine Forge. What does he says? No politics. Clean, family friendly. Oh, Rumble. Wait a minute. Family friendly, Steve? Oh, I still think my get your popcorn ready approach is best when it comes to the Middle East. Let both sides take each other out. No need to get involved. I don't want us involved. I don't. I agree with you. I just do not. We're way, way, way deep in the box of that. Anymore, it's going to be over our head. I don't want to see any of that. I'm with you, man. I don't want to be involved. And the Russia Ukraine thing, let's stay the heck out of that too. Let Europe stand or not. I don't. You ran your mouth. You know, y'all wanted war with the big guy. You let your little loose hips dude run it for you. It's all on you. No American soldiers died in this. None. From the air, sea, or ground. Let's not get involved in that. People say, oh, we got to go police the world. Well, we don't got to go to war with Russia. So, anyway, I got to go take kids to school, go to work, be back to. I don't know if we're going to have Cornbread Nation, but I will be on with something tonight. We got to get our StreamYard straightened out today. So, but I'm glad we have, thank goodness we have Rumble. But it's just a couple things that we like to do. We can't do it exclusive with Rumble. So, and not that you listen or would want to, but I have been doing a live TikTok the last two nights. So, a lot of people coming in, nobody speaking. They're just watching. But I've enjoyed it. Hey, have a great day out there. Actually, Dave, they wanted to pick a fight with Russia through. Well, I agree. I agree. Yeah. Yeah, they wanted it. They got it. That's popcorn too. Let's sit back and watch. Let's see who craps their pants over there, because they ain't man enough to stand up on their own. So yeah, you French, y'all wanted it, you got it. It's like, and behind curtain number 2, we have Russia and Ukraine and the rest of Europe in a flame. You should have done. You should have chose door number 1. It was a trip to Havana, Cuba. And curtain number 3, I don't know what that was. Go sit in your mom's basement and shut up. Oh, these allergies are killing me, but I'm having a good time. Hey, thanks, guys. You make the morning. I appreciate you. Steve, I hope you're doing well. I hope your channel's doing well. You'll be live again tomorrow night. I'll try my best. Hey, if you want me to come up, I think I've got time. I'd like to come up I'll help mod or something. We'll figure out something. I just don't know if we're going to, because it requires me and Rob to do Cornbread Nation. I don't know if he's going to feel like it. So I'll be on. I just don't know what, as I have a couple of business meetings early, but certainly around by 8 o'clock, I'll be doing something. So I may just put together a special show. Who knows? Tonight might be the night I just do a Charlie Kirk show. I honestly might do that. Might just do that. I haven't really exclusively done that. It might be tonight. So we'll see. Everybody and I'm going to do a music show maybe later tonight. I want to talk about my first shows to talk about the rock group Tesla from Sacramento, California. Love those guys. I may do that tonight a little bit later too. So we'll see. Everybody have a great day out there. Let's go out to some music. And just my song that I really like this song. It's my attitude today. Just how big a boy are you? Have a good day. Take care.
Mud on your boots, dirt on your hands, fight in your eyes, scars on your plans. Who you gonna be when the lights all fade? When the stage is gone, when the debts ain't paid. Just how big a boy are you? When the chips fall, when the fish fly. Just how big a boy are you? When the truth comes, when the lies die. Big talk ain't the weight you carry. Truck in a no-name town, dust on your tongue, rain won't come down. What's the measure of a man with nothing to show? When the wind cuts deep, when the seeds don't grow. Just how big a boy are you? When the walls crack, when the earth shakes. How big a boy? Don't mean a thing at all. You can puff your chest, you can raise your chin, but the mirror don't care about the fire within. How far will you go? How much will you lose when it's blood for blood and you gotta choose? Just how big a boy